Welcome back to Sports Talk ATL. I am Chase Earl, joined by Alex Lord. Gwinnett wrapped up their season this weekend, and Vaughn Grissom capped it off 3 for 4, double, stolen base. He just had a marvelous season in Gwinnett, and I know everyone's automatically going to be like, oh, it was a disappointment. He didn't earn the starting shortstop role. When he was up in the majors, he didn't look great, especially defensively, and all those things are correct. But you cannot ignore the fact that this man is 22 years old. In AAA, hitting 330 with a 419 on-base percentage and a 921 OPS. He set the Gwinnett record for doubles with 36 in just 102 games. He did have 8 homers. I do hope that those power numbers continue to increase as he gets older and grows into his body. But you can't ignore that this guy, at his age, is one of the best hitters at his age. I went through the stats, right? And went through the league leaders and everything. And he was close to the league. For over guys that played over 100 games, he was pretty much at the tops of the league in on-base percentage, batting average, OPS, stuff like that. But if you even go even further and look at guys that are his age, like 22 or 23, there's no one around him. Like was the best hitter at 22 years old in the International League, bar none. So the question is, where does he fit in? And I wrote something on the site about this. Go check it out, sportstalkatl.com. I don't know. I still don't know, because people are going to say left field, and that's fine. Eddie Rosario's option might not get picked up. I think it will get picked up, especially until Vaughn Grissom proves that it can at least play left field. But they're going to either have to try him out in the outfield over the offseason and in spring training, or I still think his best bet is shortstop. Because Arcia, what is Arcia? Is Arcia who he was this year? This is the best offensive year he's had of his career. I obviously think he deserves the benefit of the doubt going into 2024. Yeah, 2024 next season. But I think that should still be an open competition. I'm sure Vaughn Grissom will be working with Ron Washington. But if they don't start to put together a plan to get this guy on the field next season, you have to think that they move on from him, because he is major league ready offensively.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. But let's just we were trying to get rid of this guy at the trade deadline. Not we. People we're talking about. Michael Lorenzen, this, blah, blah, blah. Lucas Giolito. All these guys who have gone on and had terrible second half after the All-Star breaks. We're trying to get rid of a kid who had a 900-plus OPS while only hitting 8 home runs. I mean, this kid's stick is major league ready today. If there was somewhere for him to, let's say, second base, let's say Ozzie Albies got hurt, or second base anywhere in the league, he'd be in the starting lineup every single day, because he's serviceable at second base and his stick plays at the major league level. Now, for the Braves, it's not that simple, because there's 2 things at play. At shortstop, defense rules. I mean, his stick is obviously, we all want it in the major league. We want it in the Braves lineup. But Orlando Arcia's defense is so much more valuable than Vaughn Grissom's. We saw it. We saw it for, 2-3 weeks. Vaughn Grissom committed like 6 errors in like 18 games. It was horrid. And now I don't think that's who he is as a defender. I think it could be a lot of things. Maybe he was pressing. Maybe he was nervous. He needs more. He got a full season of Gwinnett at shortstop, so I'm sure he's improved in that capacity. And then he's going to have a whole nother offseason working with Ron Washington, as you mentioned. But if his defense doesn't take substantial strides, it doesn't matter what his bat does. He'll never play shortstop at the professional level unless his glove takes the step forward. Now, left field. I, have come around on the left field train for one reason in particular, the rest of the Braves lineup. There's so much power in the rest of the Braves lineup that it's okay that the Braves give up a little bit of power in left field for a contact back. Now you can platoon them with Eddie. I don't know what the plan would be going further than that. I love Kevin Pillar's defense. I love his grittiness. Vaughn Grissom, I don't know if he could really give that to you. But I don't know how hard it really could be to pick up left field when you got a bat like that. I think the answer would be left field, because the Braves lineup has so much power up and down that it's okay you give a little bit up in left field. Now, what comes of this offseason? I think it's another open competition, like you said, at shortstop.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not against the left field thing. I mean, listen, Vaughn had an unbelievable season. I mean, if he has a 900 OPS playing left field, like, I don't care if he's hitting home runs or he's hitting 330. I don't care how he does it. I mean, 900 OPS is a 900 OPS, no matter how you slice it. I also think he can give you 15 homers. I mean, it depends if he's platooning or whatever, how they're going to do it. My whole thing is they just haven't even used him in left field. Like, I understand the left field conversation, but if that was really an option, why haven't the Braves put him out there in left field and given him a chance? Like, I know they want him to be a shortstop, but
which his value is the highest as a shortstop. So you might as well exhaust all resources trying to get him to be able to be a major league shortstop. And then you get to a point you're like, okay, it's done. He's 23 years old. We need to get him in the majors right now. Now it's left field. I don't really know. It's not an easy answer.
I don't think 23 years old. People act like 23 years old. Most people don't make their major league debut until well after 23 years old. It's not like he has to be in the majors next year. And it could just be one of those things where the Braves, they want to continue trying to develop him at shortstop. They want to keep him as a middle infielder if someone gets injured. I mean, listen, look how many injuries happen throughout the year. So at worst, if they hold on to him, he's very good depth at the middle infield positions if a guy like Ozzie or Arcia gets injured. Because the odds are one of them, if not both of them, are going to experience some sort of injury next year at some point, whether it's major, whether it's minor, whether it's 2 weeks, whether it's 6 months. Like the odds are one of them probably will at some point next season, and you need that depth. Now, then again, you also have a guy like Nicky Lopez. Like
you just traded Nicky Lopez.
You got Nicky Lopez, and you have him for several years. So I mean, is Vaughn Grissom ever going to get the nod over Nicky Lopez? He didn't get it this year. So it's a weird predicament where you have this guy who's such an elite hitter, yet there's no real spots for him. And I don't know if it's left field. I don't know if it's short. I don't know if it's a trade, but it would suck to trade a guy who is that good offensively, and you better be getting something good in return. Like the one thing I will say is the trade deadline, all these things, those trades, like the market and everything, because you have so many teams competing for playoff spots and like that's their last opportunity to get them. It's much harder to trade at the trade deadline. It's much easier to find value in trades during the offseason. So that's why I always thought if Vaughn Grissom was going to get traded, it was probably more likely during the offseason, because just give him up for a rental pitcher doesn't make a lot of sense. He's got way too much value in that department. But this is going to be, I think, one of the bigger storylines of the entire offseason, because the Braves don't have to make a ton of big moves or anything. But a trade for Vaughn Grissom, or figuring out if he can be the shortstop or left fielder, his role on this team, I feel like, has to be defined this offseason, whether it's a shortstop, a left fielder, or a trade piece.
Yeah, I think you're right. And let's just not forget, going into the offseason, what we all thought, left field, bullpen, maybe another starting pitcher, and we go out and get an all-star catcher. So, with this front office, expect the unexpected. They care about value more than anything. They don't care about need. They do care about need, but they place an emphasis on value. So who knows?
Coming up after the break, Troy Anderson could be lost for the season. Huge loss for the Falcons.